Since lifting the NBA trophy in 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks have experienced a journey filled with ups and downs, but mostly downs. That memorable campaign, which seemed like the beginning of a new dynasty under the leadership of Giannis Antetokounmpo, ended up being an outlier. Even with bold attempts to strengthen the roster and reignite the spark of victory, such as the signing of Damian Lillard, lasting success has proven elusive. The expectations surrounding Lillard's arrival were sky-high. After all, bringing in one of the league's most lethal point guards to share responsibilities with Giannis seemed like a sure bet. However, the on-court reality didn't reflect the early-season optimism that swept through the fanbase. The team's performance was inconsistent, the collective play fell short of expectations, and to make matters worse, the situation took a dramatic turn when Lillard was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. The severity of the issue and the uncertainty surrounding his return dealt a major blow to Milwaukee's championship hopes. Giannis, for his part, has always shown loyalty to the team that believed in him from the start. Over the years, he has repeatedly expressed his affection for the city and the franchise. But as admirable as loyalty may be, time doesn't stop. And for a player of his caliber, wasting the prime years of his career on a team that can no longer compete at a high level is hard to accept. Naturally, in a scenario like this, the possibility of a new path begins to emerge. In this context, one team that consistently appears as a potential destination for big stars is the Golden State Warriors. In addition to their winning tradition and exciting style of play, the California team still boasts one of the greatest talents in NBA history, Stephen Curry. And with the window to win more titles alongside him narrowing, the Warriors might be ready to take the next step toward another era of dominance in the league. Recently, Golden State showed that they're not just waiting for luck to strike. The aggressive move in the latest trade window, acquiring Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat, was a clear sign that the front office is determined to make the most of the remaining peak years of their main star. Butler's arrival has already elevated the team's competitive level, but many believe they're still one piece away from becoming truly unstoppable. And that's where Giannis enters the conversation. A potential deal between the Warriors and the Bucks would involve many elements, but an intriguing proposal is already making the rounds behind the scenes. The rumored package would send Giannis to San Francisco alongside Tyler Smith, while Milwaukee would receive a combination of veterans and promising young players. Draymond Green, Gary Payton II, Buddy Hield, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody, along with two valuable first-round draft picks, one in 2026 and another in 2028. It's a robust offer, especially considering Green's status as a central figure in the Warriors' recent history. However, despite his tactical and emotional importance to the roster, the truth is that he no longer has the same impact as before. At 35 years old, time is relentless, and letting him go might be the price to pay to open a new winning chapter. For Milwaukee, the main draw lies in the young talent. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are only 22 years old, but they've already shown flashes of potential that have piqued the interest of several franchises. Both entered the NBA with high expectations, and while they're still finding their footing, their raw talent is evident. A new environment with more minutes and less immediate pressure for results might be exactly what they need to reach a new level. Kuminga, for example, is averaging 15.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. Although his time with the Warriors has been marked by ups and downs, some believe he just needs more space to flourish, and Milwaukee could offer that. Moody, on the other hand, is experiencing his best stretch in the league, averaging 10.1 points per game and shooting 38.1% from long range, numbers that suggest real potential to contribute in a new project. In addition to the young players, the package includes two experienced names who could add value to the locker room, Green and Payton II. While neither is in their physical prime, their experience and leadership in a young environment could be key assets for the Bucks' future. Green, in particular, could serve as a mentor, helping to shape the competitive character of a new generation in Milwaukee. On the other side of the country, the Warriors would be forming a formidable trio. Bringing together Curry, Butler, and Giannis would be the kind of move that completely reshapes the landscape of an already highly competitive Western Conference. With three stars of complementary styles, Golden State could attack in multiple ways, exploit the space created by the attention Curry demands, and at the same time, reinforce their defense with two players who command respect on both ends of the court. The addition of Giannis alone would already transform the team's entire tactical setup. His ability to finish near the rim, combined with his physical explosiveness and defensive presence, would open up a range of possibilities for both Curry and Butler. Imagine how dangerous the Warriors' offense would become with these three pieces working in harmony. Butler slashing aggressively, Giannis bulldozing through defenses, and Curry finding space for his precise shooting like never before. Moreover, Giannis's presence would also ease the physical and mental burden on Curry, allowing the point guard to maintain his level of play even as he ages. Giannis, in turn, would find an environment where he wouldn't have to carry the team alone, enabling him to maximize his game within a more structured system and with less pressure on his shoulders. For the Warriors' front office, this decision represents more than just a player trade. It's a statement that the team is willing to go all in to extend its era of success. It's no longer enough to just be among the good. The ambition is clear: to be the best. And to achieve that, risks might need to be taken. With this move, Golden State wouldn't just be investing in another big-name player, it would be orchestrating the construction of a historic team with real chances of reclaiming its position as the league's dominant force. And this ambition is justified. Although Curry is still playing at an extremely high level, the clock keeps ticking. With each passing season, the championship window narrows, and the urgency for victories becomes increasingly present. Alongside Butler, who recently arrived to add an extra dose of intensity and competitive mindset, the arrival of Giannis could completely transform the team's current DNA. It would be the ideal transition from a generation that captivated the world with its ball movement and three-point shooting to a new phase, more physical, versatile, and dominant on both ends of the court. The Warriors' front office has already shown it isn't afraid of change when the goal is to win. Recently, they gave up important names to bring in Butler, signaling that the pursuit of a new title is above any sense of nostalgia. The eventual departure of symbolic figures from the roster only reinforces the mindset that there is no room for complacency when it comes to building a championship team. If it's necessary to sacrifice idols to make space for generational talent, that decision will be made. This aggressive approach in the market not only meets the team's immediate needs, but also sends a clear message to the rest of the league. Golden State is willing to do whatever it takes to stay on top. And by all indications, the next move in this climb is to aim high as Giannis Antetokounmpo. For the Greek player, a move to the Warriors could represent exactly what he needs at this stage of his career. A new challenge, yes, but one with the structure, talent, and ambition needed to continue competing at the highest level. Alongside Curry and Butler, he wouldn't bear the weight of the franchise alone. He would be surrounded by stars with a winning mentality and would have the opportunity to build an even greater legacy. On the court, the fit between the three would be, at the very least, intriguing. Butler would bring his combative style and defensive versatility. Curry, with his ability to stretch the floor and destroy defenses with impossible shots. And Giannis, a brute force combined with speed and tactical intelligence. Together, they would form a trio nearly impossible to guard. While defenses try to close off driving lanes for Giannis and Butler, Curry would have even more freedom to punish from the perimeter. At the same time, the team's defense would gain another dimension with the Greeks' presence, capable of protecting the rim, switching on defense, and leading fast breaks. The impact wouldn't just be technical. Giannis's arrival would bring a boost in morale to the locker room, renewing the spirit of conquest in a team that has already won, but needs constant motivation to keep evolving. After all, staying on top is even harder than getting there. On the other hand, the Bucks, despite the pain of losing one of the greatest players in their history, would have a valuable opportunity to redefine their future. Letting go of Giannis doesn't mean giving up on competitiveness, especially if the return includes young players with real growth potential, veteran leadership, and draft picks that could become new pillars. Jonathan Kuminga, for example, is the type of player who hasn't reached his ceiling yet. Possessing a rare combination of physical strength, agility, and offensive skill, he could become a star under the right guidance and with consistent playing time. Milwaukee could be the ideal place for that. On a team in rebuilding or transition, Kuminga would have the freedom to make mistakes, learn, and most importantly, lead. Moses Moody, meanwhile, has already shown clear signs of maturity. With an increasingly reliable shot and growing understanding of the game, he could establish himself as one of the best 3-and-D players of his generation. His development has been steady, and a new environment could accelerate that process even further. And the value of the first-round picks that would come in the deal cannot be ignored. In a league where young talent is increasingly prized, having draft capital is essential for any franchise that wants to build something sustainable. The 2026 and 2028 picks could be used to select promising talent or even as trade assets to acquire ready players from the market. Flexibility, in this case, is a major asset. Draymond Green and Gary Payton II, although in the later stages of their careers, could also play important roles in the Bucks' locker room. Green, with his defensive mindset and high basketball IQ, could serve as a mentor not only for the young players, but also for the new coach, if the team opts for changes in the coaching staff. Payton, known for his energy and dedication on both ends of the floor, can contribute both on and off the court. In this way, what seems like a risky move for both sides could, in fact, benefit everyone involved. The Warriors would have the chance to build a new version of the dynasty that defined the last decade, while the Bucks would begin a new chapter with enough assets to accelerate their rebuild. And as painful as Giannis's departure might be for Milwaukee fans, one must acknowledge that keeping a player of his caliber without giving him a competitive roster is a waste of talent. Giving him the chance to continue fighting for titles in a favorable environment may be the most respectful gesture the franchise can make. At the same time, this decision would pave the way for new protagonists to emerge and for the team to build a long-term project with a solid foundation and renewed ambition. The truth is, with Lillard's declining impact this season, worsened by injury, the Bucks' situation has become more delicate than ever. The pressure from the fans for results, the media scrutiny, and the unrest behind the scenes all indicate that the moment calls for bold decisions. And this trade could be exactly the kind of bold move both sides need to make now, before it's too late. What seems like a simple player trade, in fact, carries the weight of a complete transformation in the stories of two franchises. On one side, a team that wants to extend its legacy of championships and sees the present as the last chance to do so with its biggest star. On the other, a team that needs to start over and understands that holding on to the past does not guarantee a good future. This trade is not just about names on a spreadsheet. It's about legacy, cycles, rebuilding, and vision. It's about knowing the right time to turn the page, not with regret, but with courage. If this move actually happens, it will be impossible not to imagine the immediate ripple effects throughout the NBA. The mere news of Giannis Antetokounmpo going to Golden State would send shockwaves to every corner of the league. Executives, coaches, players, and fans would be forced to rethink their strategies, realign their goals, and most importantly, accept that a new dominant force had emerged. The Western Conference, which is already traditionally balanced and competitive, would see a true shift in power. Teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, and Los Angeles Clippers, which currently compete for the top of the standings, would have to deal with a rejuvenated Golden State, now armed with an elite trio of Curry, Butler, and Giannis. Imagine a rotation where Curry starts off orchestrating the offense with his impossible shots. Butler imposes the rhythm with his suffocating defense, and Giannis dominates the paint on both ends of the floor. Few teams would be able to match that level of intensity and versatility. The fast breaks would be lethal. The pick and roll between Giannis and Curry would be virtually unguardable. And the defensive double teams would open up space all over the court, making defending the Warriors a true nightmare. The impact wouldn't be felt only on the court. Off the court, media interest, ticket sales, the growth of the global fan base, and the strengthening of the franchise's brand would be immediate. The Warriors, already one of the NBA's strongest brands, would further cement their position as a benchmark of sporting success and a model of aggressive management. But it's important to remember that a transition of this magnitude requires more than just talent. It demands chemistry, commitment, and time. It's not enough to gather big names. They need to work together. And that's where Steve Kerr's key role comes in. The coach, who has guided the franchise through years of glory, would face the challenge of adapting his system to new protagonists without losing the collective identity that has always defined his team. Giannis's tactical versatility could be the key to this adaptation. Unlike many stars, he doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time to impact the game. His passing ability, court vision, and driving skills make him a valuable asset in any system, whether attacking in transition or in half-court sets. And alongside a playmaker as intelligent as Curry, the offensive fluidity would likely multiply. Meanwhile, in the East, the Bucks would have to face the new reality head-on. Even though the feeling of loss is inevitable, the franchise would still have enough tools for an immediate rebuild. The most important aspect of this process would be defining a clear identity. Will it be a slow rebuild focused on developing young talent, or a quick regrouping using the veterans included in the trade package to keep the team competitive? Draymond Green could be the driving force of this process. Even though he's in a more mature phase of his career, his experience in decisive moments, his leadership in championship locker rooms, and his ability to influence the game beyond the box score make him a central figure to guide the team through the early stages of this new cycle. His role might no longer be that of an on-court protagonist, but it will certainly be crucial in shaping the character and culture of the new team. Additionally, Green's physical and intense playing style could inspire younger players, especially Kuminga, who has similar physical tools but still needs to develop his basketball IQ and consistency. Daily interaction between the two could accelerate the young forward's development process. Gary Payton II could also play a similar role, especially as an example of resilience and dedication. He built his career by being underestimated, fighting for every minute on the court, and making defense his calling card. For a team undergoing restructuring, having players with that mindset is a valuable asset. From a management perspective, the trade would give the Bucks an opportunity to think long-term. With 2 first-round picks in hand, the franchise could aim for the top prospects in the coming years. More than that, it could attract players looking to grow alongside a new, promising young core. If given consistent minutes and a key role, Moody and Kuminga could blossom as the new faces of the franchise. Both have the physical and technical tools for it. What they lack is opportunity, consistency, and most importantly, a structure that genuinely believes in them. The fan base, in turn, would need to understand that every cycle has an end. Giannis gave Milwaukee everything he had. He brought the city to the top of the NBA, delivered pride, championships, and global recognition. And now, as he departs, he still leaves the franchise with important pieces to move forward. It's a tough separation, but one done with mutual respect and eyes set on the future. This trade also reminds us that the NBA is a dynamic organism. No franchise is immune to change, and no star is forever tied to a city. The sport is made of moments, bold decisions, and opportunities that appear and disappear quickly. It's up to the teams to know when to act. For the Warriors, this is the moment. The chance to turn Curry's final years into yet another memorable run is wide open. Ignoring this opportunity would be an unforgivable mistake. For the Bucks, it's time to plant new seeds, trust in youth, and accept that sometimes starting over is the best way to reach the top again. If this trade goes through, it won't just be a player swap. It'll be a milestone, a turning point for 2 franchises that, although at different moments, share the same ambition, to win. And for the fans, it will mark the beginning of a new era, one that promises to be as unpredictable as it is thrilling. The NBA landscape is heating up with rumors that promise to shake not just the upcoming season, but the global outlook of the league. Among these movements, one in particular has been drawing the attention of fans, analysts, and basketball enthusiasts around the world. The Golden State Warriors are quietly working to make the signing of a name that could become a game-changer for the franchise a reality. That name is the young Filipino center Kai Sotto, whose potential arrival in San Francisco is being met with anticipation and excitement, not just for technical reasons, but for everything he represents off the court. The mere possibility of seeing Kai Sotto wearing a Warriors jersey is already stirring social media and sports portals. The franchise's interest is no coincidence. Kai's impressive height, his technical attributes, and especially his journey so far, make this pursuit a strategic move with multiple layers of significance. If it comes to fruition, this acquisition will be much more than a reinforcement in the paint. It will be a symbol of cultural connection and representation, particularly for the millions of basketball-loving Filipinos, both in their homeland and across the diaspora. Standing at 7'2", 2.18 meters, Kai is impossible to miss on any court. But his presence goes beyond just his stature. What truly impresses is the way he uses his physical frame intelligently, combining agility and technique in a game that keeps evolving. His ability to read plays, position himself precisely, and impact both ends of the floor has made him an increasingly watched prospect by NBA scouts. On defense, his wingspan and reaction time make him an elite rim protector, the kind that intimidates any opponent approaching the basket. But his true differential lies in his offensive capabilities. Unlike conventional centers who operate strictly near the rim, Kai shows rare versatility for his position. He can shoot mid-range jumpers with solid accuracy, which opens up a wide range of possibilities within modern basketball strategies. This ability to stretch the floor is increasingly valued, and in that regard, Kai already stands out as a special talent. His story is a whole chapter in itself. Born in the Philippines, a country where basketball holds an almost sacred place in popular culture, Kai began to attract attention early on. With a natural combination of height and skill, he quickly stood out in youth competitions and began to be seen not just as a national promise, but as an international one. From there, he embarked on a journey marked by bold decisions and massive challenges. As a teenager, he made the decision to leave home and seek technical development in more competitive environments. Australia was his first international stop, where he played in the NBL, facing experienced and demanding opponents. It was there that he began to shape his identity as a professional player, learning to compete at a high level and to stand out even under difficult circumstances. He proved to be reliable on defense, efficient on offense, and above all, an athlete with personality and determination. His evolution took him to Japan's B-League, where he continued his rise. There, Kai established himself as one of the league's main figures, gaining visibility not just for his numbers on the court, but for how he carried himself as a representative of Filipino basketball on foreign soil. With humility, talent, and discipline, he became a true ambassador of the sport, admired by teammates, opponents, and fans alike. Every phase of this journey has shaped the profile of a player ready for the big stage. Today, Kai Sotto is more than just a promise. He's a solid reality, with the potential to make an impact in the NBA. And for the Warriors, who in recent years have been looking for ways to renew their identity and remain competitive in the league's constantly evolving landscape, Kai's arrival could be the key to unlocking a new era. The Golden State Warriors' playing style is globally known, dynamic, fast-paced, based on smart movement and precise perimeter shooting. But one aspect the team has often lacked is physical presence in the paint. A center capable of protecting the rim, consistently grabbing rebounds and contributing offensively is a much-desired profile and rarely found. Kai fits those needs perfectly, being the kind of athlete who can complement the roster with excellence. If signed, Kai Sotto could elevate the team's performance in multiple areas. His ability to dominate both offensive and defensive rebounds would give the team greater control over the pace of the game. In transition, that translates to more possessions, more opportunities, and of course, more points. Defensively, his imposing presence would add a layer of rim protection the team has been desperately seeking. On offense, Kai's mid-range shooting talent and his mobility in the half-court would give a new dimension to the team's offensive system. He wouldn't just be a finisher, but also a play facilitator, someone capable of drawing defenders and opening up space for his teammates. Players like Stephen Curry would benefit directly from this, gaining more freedom to execute their already famous shots and movements. But there's something even deeper at play: representation. The Bay Area, home to the Golden State Warriors, has one of the largest Filipino communities outside the Philippines. Kai's presence on the team would create a powerful cultural and emotional bond between the team and this segment of the population. It would be a symbolic gesture of recognition and appreciation for that community, and a powerful catalyst for engaging a new generation of fans. And this isn't just about marketing, though the impact in that aspect would be considerable. Kai has a huge and loyal fan base, especially in his home country. His signing with the Warriors would expand the franchise's reach throughout Asia, particularly in strategic markets like the Philippines, where interest in the NBA is enormous. The team's visibility would skyrocket, and engagement with sponsors and commercial ventures would multiply. Kai is, at his core, an example of resilience and perseverance. His journey from a kid with big dreams in the Philippines to a potential NBA player is inspiring. It represents the idea that talent and effort, when paired with the courage to face the unknown, can transform destinies. And that's exactly the message that makes his possible arrival in the NBA so meaningful, not just for basketball, but for all the young people who see themselves in his story. His presence on the Warriors would inspire thousands of young athletes around the world, especially in regions where opportunities are still limited. The Kai Sotto effect could be transformational, not just for the growth of the sport in the Philippines, but for strengthening the sense of belonging within the Asian diaspora. And it's at this intersection of talent, cultural impact, and strategic vision that this potential signing takes on dimensions larger than the game itself. So, did you enjoy the video? Then don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. Turn on the notification bell to get all our content firsthand. Thanks a lot for sticking with us. We're in this together, and see you in the next video.